Okay, well, welcome everyone. My name is Siobhan Koch, and I am the Graduate Liaison Officer here at McMaster. And my role is working with students as you explore graduate programs. So some of you may have emailed me in the past and heard from me, but we are so excited that you have joined us for this webinar this evening. This biomanufacturing program is a program that we are very proud of at McMaster. It is our newest graduate program. And we love helping students who are passionate about working in the biomedical and biopharmaceutical fields. And so, as you are exploring what might be next in terms of career, in terms of education, we hope that this program is helpful for you. Throughout the presentation, you're going to hear from a variety of different faculty members here at McMaster, as well as get to hear a panel of some of our current students who are in the program, living through the program, working through it day by day, and they'll have some really incredible insights for you in that. And so if you do have any questions about the field that we are talking about at the time, feel free to post those in the question and answer box. In terms of at the presentation, we will have some time at the very end as well, where we'll have some time to answer any questions that maybe don't get answered throughout the presentation for you. So just to get started, I am going to pass this on to Dr. Fei Gang, and he is the program lead for this program. He has all of the great insights for you and a presentation just to share so that you can get an overview of what we offer. And then he'll pass it on to some of our other faculty members to share more about the program as well.
Thank you, Siobhan. Good evening, everybody. It's my great pleasure to be here and nice to see you guys. I do recognize quite some familiar faces and names from the list. Nice to see you guys all. Okay, just give me 1 second. Let me share my screen. Okay, all right, let's get started. So my name is Fagan, and I'm associate professor in McMaster engineering. And it's my great pleasure to introduce our program to provide some more overview on this brand new program. So we have a lot of great information to share with you this evening, and we welcome any question from you all. Okay. So first of all, about what is biomanufacturing. So during the conversation with a lot of potential applicants, we recognize that a lot of students have a question. I am a good fit because I'm coming from either science or engineering, or just manufacturing, right? So what is biomanufacturing? How can we fit into this biomanufacturing industry? So that's why basically, so during my presentation, I just want to kind of introduce what's the entire biomanufacturing industry about, and what's really the potential relevant to your background. Okay, so first of all, biomanufacturing is the operation which can connect the different biotech industry at a different scale. Especially, I think we're really talking about applying the bio-related products, such as cell culture, such as pharmaceutical industry can utilize bio antibodies, right? Biosource antibodies and biofuel bioindustry. So this is basically the application of the biomanufacturing. And the bioprocesses can including multiple different directions, including cell therapy, chemical production, energy production, and the food industry. So what our curriculum can offer? So we have 3 different features for our curriculum. So number one, our curriculum actually combines the science and business. This combination allows us to offer great experience to cover both technical and business. And also, we provide professional training experience and through like a case study project. And third, we offer professional skill training through the oral communication, written communication, electronic communication. So most importantly, like what you're going to be able to learn through our program is that we're going to provide the training through that industrial-like environment. So you learn the first thing from the training, the skill sets through the GMP guidance, right? So this actually are very critical for your future job application. there are a couple different directions we want to kind of provide information for you, such as the development of a cell line, the regulatory compliance, and the quality assurance, QA, and the business development. So these kind of directions are very important for students to gain the first-hand information so before you graduate from this program. And one of the key program information we want to share with you is that this program was started in January 2023, early last year. And we offer this program for both part-time and for part-time and full-time. For full-time, so which including 16 months program, which can complete within 12 months and 24 months. So one of our students in here, Daniel de Souza, successfully broke the record by finishing the program within 8 months. So I think that's a lot of motivation for some of you are interested in this program. And for the part-time option, which is also very attractive, because if you are going to start a full-time position and you want to take this program on a part-time basis without affecting your regular jobs, that's actually a very good option. So because we have a flexibility in delivering the courses, okay? So and the duration for the part-time option range from 32 months to 40 months, right? So you have a wide range. So we're gonna be working with you. In terms of the pathways to the completion of the program, we can provide 8 courses plus 2 product courses, or we can provide 10 courses. So these are 2 different options. Going to be really up to you to decide, depending on if you are more eager to gain the technical skills, or you want to gain more like, the skills which can be achieved through the courses. So where are the jobs? So the jobs from biomanufacturing is coming from the ecosystem in Canada. So just take Hamilton as example, the greater Hamilton area recently. So we have a couple of world leaders in biomanufacturing. One of the companies called Omnia Bio. And this company, so they got the investment from the federal government, and the entire facility they're developing is at the value of $580 million. And there are $2.2 billion projects going to start from this facility, which is very exciting, of course. And so the entire vision or objective for the training of the talents. So we are looking at in 2020, so the number of trainees in Canada, we are looking at 66,000. So, but by 2030, the vision from the federal government is going to train 85,000 trainees. So that's how many of you gonna be able to participate in this very exciting industry in Canada. And just take Omnia Bio as an example. So there are 2 buildings are building in Hamilton right now. So building A, they have a 1,500. They are planning to recruit 1,500 full-time employee by 2026. And for building B, they are going to recruit 500 full-time employees by 2024. So basically the end of this year. So that's why this is actually the number of jobs that will become available. And just want to also share with you, there's another, of course, world-leading company, Moderna, so has already been initiated their facility development in Ontario and Quebec. So their facility is going to be complete by 2024. So they are aiming to recruit 200 to 300 employees by end of this year. So just using the quote from our Prime Minister, so the vision for the entire biomanufacturing is to provide the training for our Canadian workers. Okay, so we're gonna be able to provide the training for you guys so that you are able to fit yourself into the very well paid new jobs, right, in Canada, in the ecosystem of biomanufacturing. And there are 5 reasons why we want to consider biomanufacturing program, right? So there are this kind of 5 selling points. Number 1, so this is the first graduate program in Canada specializing in biomanufacturing, which is very attractive because All the other similar programs are either undergrad level or like at the college level. So that's why the amount of the role you guys are gonna play in the future industry is going to be well trained and taking the leadership in the future. Second selling point is that, as you can tell, there are many career opportunities available in Canada and in GTA and the greater Hamilton area. So these are the opportunity. I think it's very good timing for you guys to enroll in this program so that this is actually one of those times you are able to make a difference, right? For human health and the better future. And the third selling point is biomanufacturing students are offered the industry-oriented products. So during these products, you are going to work with a number of supervisors who have the industry collaboration, or like their product by itself is industry oriented. So through this process, you are going to gain a lot of experience by so as I mentioned earlier, like the training and the documentation and those skill sets are unique to industry. The fourth standpoint is the multidisciplinary nature of this program. So as I mentioned, so the biomanufacturing involves a lot of different processes, including upstream, for example, cell culture and automation and engineering design, and downstream bioprocess, purification, chromatography, and a lot of transferable skills, including management. So these kind of skill sets are critical for science and business courses. And once you complete from this program, you're going to be able to gain this many different skill sets, so which are going to be critical for your future career. And the last selling point for this program is that we are providing the biomanufacturing bioregulation training. So this kind of training is essential for you guys to work in the future industrial environment. A lot of environments actually require like those so-called CGMP, the good manufacturing practice training. So this kind of training is very important for you to be eligible even for the job application. So that's why before you graduate from this program, you are able to gain this kind of experience. This is really very beneficial for the job application and the future career, what you're going to have. So this is basically all the information I want to share with you. And if you have any question, feel free to share in the chat, okay? If not, I'm going to pass on to my colleague, Dr. Abu Ghazala. So he's going to share his insights with you. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Faye, and welcome everyone. I think my colleague Faye covered most of the salient points that we needed to cover. One thing I want to highlight is actually the diverse background of students that join this particular program is quite impressive. We've had students from mechanical engineering, health science, iBiomed, in various backgrounds, and not just the students, but your instructors, potential instructors, their backgrounds are actually quite diverse as well. So it's a new program. It's exciting, and it's been fun. Quite a bit of work, and yeah, I mean the options are limitless, to be honest, as this biotechnology and the biomanufacturing is a sector that's just going to really grow across the globe, just to keep up with the technology itself. I'll be here to answer questions later on. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you both so much. I do appreciate you sharing a little bit more about the program and some of the specifics and ins and outs. Now we're going to hear from two of our students. So Daniel and Shelby are both students who are in the program, currently working through their program. And just to get started briefly, would each of you just tell us a little bit about your education and work background and what initially attracted you to the program? So maybe I'll have Daniel, you start, and then Shelby, I'll let you go afterwards.
Sure, yeah. So hi everyone, my name is Daniel. I think I also recognize some of the names in the call. But I did my undergrad also at McMaster in the Biomanufacturing program, specifically in the HESI stream. I didn't have any work background per se. I only had like research positions during my summers of undergrad. But I went straight from my undergrad into this master's program. And then next year I'll actually be in the MD PhD program at University of Toronto. But what really it attracted me to the program was I did hear about it from Dr. Gang, but also I knew that I wanted to also make my master's useful and something relevant to what I could do my PhD in, and also like as a clinician. And there's a lot of great programs out there, but I think just the interdisciplinary approach of the program and how you sort of learn the biology side, but then you're also learning about some of the manufacturing of specific drug products. It's such an important aspect to just like be aware of, because I think especially with COVID, it highlighted how we can innovate and create all these things in the lab, but we don't really have the infrastructure or the skill sets to sort of like make it domestically. And that was, I think, like a shortcoming. So as someone who wants to go into drug development, hopefully in my PhD, I think I found it would be helpful to go into a program like this where I'd actually be able to be involved in those conversations or in those processes to actually get like things from like the lab to the patients.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing, Daniel. And Shelby, what about yourself?
Yeah, hi. So my name is Shelby. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm currently doing a master's in this program. I currently am doing it part-time, so I actually work full-time at the university in the McMaster Engineering Recruitment Office for the outreach team. In terms of my background, actually graduated from the biotechnology program, also from the W Booth School at McMaster pretty recently. So I am one of the newest additions to the program. What initially drew me to the program was very similar to Daniel. I was interested more in the manufacturing side of things, and like COVID was an area where, as we know in Canada, we didn't really get to do it domestically, so it was a shortcoming. However, my approach is almost from a different side. It kind of relates to what I do now with outreach. So I'm more interested in seeing how we can develop drugs, not just for people, but how it relates to how it kind of affects different people. So how does it affect Black people differently? How does it affect Indigenous people differently? So I'm more coming at it from like an outreach side where like I want to be kind of the face in the lab that like other Black women don't normally see. So that's kind of the reason why I'm in the program, is more not in terms of like, oh, I want to be inclusive, but more so like I do want to be inclusive. It is an inclusive space, but understanding that like biotech isn't just a monolith for everybody. It should be for everybody. So there's different aspects, and it's not one way or one outlook on how we do science. You know, there's different perspectives in science and engineering, and all those perspectives should be explored.
Great. Thank you so much. And you both touched on this, but I would love just for you to go in further. You're both great examples of Shelby, you're working on your program part-time, and Daniel, you just powered through your program full-time and did it quite quickly. So Shelby, do you want to share a little bit about why you decided part-time, how that works for you, what that looks like schedule-wise for you? And then Daniel, I'll have you jump in after and share just a little bit about, how come you wanted to go through so fast and how that worked for you, what that looked like.
Yeah, so I guess it's best of both worlds, because you get to see why I took the other route and Daniel took the faster route. So for me, I was already working in the recruitment office full time because I took a year off after I had graduated just to kind of see where I wanted to go. So I decided to go into the program part time because I did like the job I was doing now in outreach. So I did want to keep that job full time. In terms of part time, I only do one course a semester. So like semester being like the fall, the spring, summer, and then the winter. So it's 3 courses a year. You can do more. I personally just like for my workload, as well as someone that like does a lot outside of work and outside of school, I just felt that one course was enough for me. So I will finish, I believe, in 2027. So if again, like this is just like my preference. I did like working full time and then doing school part time, just like my preference. So yeah, that was kind of the reason why I chose it. I do find it is like, for me at least, it is a bit easier, and I can work and I just have the one course to focus on, which was again fine. Like I was fine with it. And then I'll pass it over to Daniel to share why he finished and how he finished in 8 months.
Yeah, just to provide the other end of the spectrum. So for context, I always knew that I want to go into medicine or PhD, and most of those programs require that if you are a master's student that you be done by June. So I couldn't take even 3 months. I need to finish 2 months. And that's one of the things I really loved about this program compared to the other ones I was considering. This one really had flexibility. If you want to go 8 months and just power through all of them, you could, or if you want to take like 2 or 3 years, you could also. So for me, I take 5 courses per semester. So it doesn't really sound too bad because I came also from like a biomedical engineering program, the iBiomed program at McMaster. So for me, it kind of just felt like just an extension in terms of the workload. I didn't find it more than what I was doing in my undergrad. But also a lot of the courses, a lot of them are biomanufacturing related, but a lot of the courses you also take are cross-disciplinary or electives, if you will. So some of them are in areas that are totally unrelated to biomanufacturing, but still relevant if you actually find yourself in the field. So it's kind of nice if you have that balance where you're not always going to be like in very science-heavy courses. Like sometimes you might be taking more human-centered courses or international governance courses, for example. But with that being said, even though I am full-time, I did do it in 8 months. I still did do a lot of things also outside. So I still TA'd actually, in fact, for one of Dr. Geng's courses, actually both semesters. And I also have still been involved with my side research. So I definitely have still had time to do other things. It hasn't just all been school. But yeah, that was basically why I decided to go the 8 month option.
Great. Thank you both so much for sharing that. And again, this program is so flexible that it's incredible that we have options on both sides of the spectrum for students and for, depending on what you're looking for in terms of, what fits along your academic career and what fits along maybe your working career. There's a lot of flexibility, which is amazing. So for each of you, what has been one of the highlights of the program so far? And Daniel, I'll have you start, and then Shelby, I'll have you take over afterwards.
Right. I think I kind of touched on this earlier, so I'll say maybe two small things. So one of them is really the breadth of the courses you get to take. So you're not just taking all biomanufacturing related courses when you start the program. And I think this is one thing I really appreciate from the program. They will actually send you like a list of like the courses you need to do and make sure that you have planned out all of your courses. Like I think most undergrad programs don't even do that. So you really can plan out the courses you're going to take. And a lot of the categories aren't biomanufacturing related. They're sort of cross-disciplinary or sort of courses that are like in other departments. And I think they really want to sort of develop that interdisciplinary skill set in the students. So it's nice to take those courses where you sort of build those connections, like how does this fit into biomanufacturing? For example, I might be taking an international governance course where we learn about how laws in different countries impact manufacturing processes. So how can this apply if I find myself in the biomanufacturing industry? And then a second minor point also, but major point still, is the people, honestly. Like the faculty is great. You literally are having sometimes people who work full-time in biomanufacturing who are teaching these courses as like a side gig. So you really get to build those connections with people who are in the field. And even the students also, because you're taking courses sometimes which are not just taken by the biomanufacturing students, but by also students from other programs in the School of Engineering Practice Technology. You get to also build relationships with students who are like maybe in discrete manufacturing or systems technology. So then when you do those projects also, it's nice to work in these really diverse groups.
Okay, so building off that, I would say one of the main things, one of my highlights of the program so far is honestly, I love how hands-on the program is. I know a lot of programs like say that they're hands-on. I know my undergrad was hands-on as like being in biotech, but with this program, it's more student-led and it's not as independent as like let's say a capstone, but it's very student-led. So it kind of allows students to teach each other through lots of presentations, through group work. And then it also allows you to be hands-on like in the lab with each other. So like you follow kind of a protocol, but you also get to kind of explore your own protocol through reading research papers. So it allows you to develop your own mindset on how things could work in the lab, how things would work, how you want them to work. So it's very, very, that's one of my biggest highlights so far. I've only done the one course so far, so you have to forgive me. I'm sure there are plenty of other highlights that will come throughout my program. But for the course I'm taking right now, that's how it is for us. Like I'm a Dr. Amin. I don't know if any of you know him, but he's a very great prof and he allows us to teach each other. He allows us to have those group discussions, and it's like it's very easy for me to like hear and remember something else that someone said versus and like practically do it versus like reading along paper and doing lots of research. I'm more of a hands-on type of person. So the fact that this program still allows me to continue that from my undergrad is one of my highlights.
Great. And Shelby, was there anything that surprised you about the program?
Um, I guess it's like it is a good thing. I will say it was surprising, but it is a good thing. I would say like how small my class is. So I'd say my class is very close knit. There's not a lot of us. There's only about like 15 of us, but like it works really well because then we all get to know each other, and then we all get to kind of work with Dr. Min more closely. So be having that small class aspect. It was an aspect I had in my undergrad as well. I think I only had like 30 to 40 students per class, and like it's better compared to like the big lecture halls you sometimes see other programs have, where they like you sit in a lecture hall with like 400 200 students, and like you're all trying to vie for attention because it's a master's and you want to go a PhD. Whereas in this program you all get to kind of know each other, know the prop, know everybody's interests. So it was a surprise, but it was like a good surprise.
That's great. And Daniel, what about yourself? Was there anything that surprised you about the program?
I think it's been echoed already, but just the flexibility. Like there's two major streams. You can either go the pure course-based approach, which is what I'm doing, or you can take the project-based course where you do 8 courses and then 2 units worth of projects. So I think I really was surprised by how the program sort of is not forcing onto the students like a really rigid approach that most other programs do. They sort of let the students take control of like tailor the program to like what fits them best for their career aspirations. So you really have that flexibility, and you always have also mentors or faculty that you can reach out to if you're not really sure which pathway you want to go into, but who will like help you figure out which one is best for you based on your priorities.
Great. Thank you so much. And Daniel, if you had any advice for students coming in terms of like, why should they apply to this program? What will they get out of this program? What would you share with them?
I think this program is like it's addressing sort of like a need in Canada's ecosystem, but it's kind of almost like a black box because in a good sense. So like it's really interdisciplinary. So you're really getting like the jack of all trades in this program. You're getting a little bit of biology, chemistry, some engineering, like to some extent, and then even like the non-science courses. So you're really getting the best of everything. So I think that's going to make you a really valuable asset when you do finish the program and you want to continue with education or you want to go work in industry. I think if you're able to come in with that mindset of having the background in all these different areas and also having the hands-on experience that is so valued, because a lot of the courses you take will actually have like lab components where you are doing techniques that are done in actual biomanufacturing companies, which are sometimes even taught by professionals who work in these companies. You're basically sort of telling your employer like, I know what you want and I sort of already have this like on my resume. So it just, I think, makes for a more streamlined process, and I think it just makes it more valuable. And it is a very exciting field. I think it's definitely growing for sure, especially with all the investments that Dr. Gang had mentioned. So I think the jobs that might exist in biomanufacturing when students who enter the program today graduate might not exist today, and I think that's really exciting because it's like still evolving and growing.
Great. That was such a great perspective. And Shelby, what about yourself? Do you have, for anyone thinking about applying to the program, what would be some of your advice on why they should consider this program at McMaster?
Yeah, I think they should consider this program at McMaster. I think probably touched on already, but just because of how much you learn. So it's not just like one monolith where everything is about engineering and manufacturing. You also learn stuff on the business side of entrepreneurship. You also learn a lot from like the mathematical side of things. So it's kind of comes from everywhere. So that's why I think it attributes to a lot of different skills. So for me, like I personally like the manufacturing, I like the science, like the engineering part of it. But I know other people went into the program knowing they wanted to like be a leader, work on project development skills, management skills, supervisory skills. So you learn all of these different skills through these different classes. And I think that's why you should apply. And you might apply not knowing what you specifically want to do at the end of it. So for me, I have like 3 whole years to the side and 10 courses along the way. But I know that like I will gain so many different outlooks and perspectives that I can take everything into consideration once I do reach the end of my 3 years.
That's great. I love that. So one piece of the application is your statement of interest. And this is a really important piece of your application, where it's a chance for students to really tell the program admissions team why you are a great fit for this particular program and graduate school at McMaster. And so, Shelby, do you have any advice for students as they are thinking through what they might put together with their statement of interest, what that would look like?
Yeah, so I kind of just said I recently just wrote a statement of interest, just so it is fresh in the head. I would say be as personal as possible. So like do make those anecdotes, make those analogies. Because like again, like there is like the Cura interview, so they can see your video, but this piece of paper, these 2 pages are kind of you and like what you can bring to the table. So it's important to like talk about those passions, be passionate, talk about what you want to gain from this program, what your insights are, and what you can bring to the program. So why not only do you want to be in the program, but what can you do for the program and what can the program do for you? So make sure you're as personal as possible and just be open. So be open, be open-minded. And it is intimidating because it's like, oh, like I only have these 2 pages. But trust me, it did take me a long time as well. But as long as you're personable and they can feel that they know you through these pages, then you've done a great job.
Thank you. And Daniel, what about yourself as you were working through your statement of interest and, were successfully admitted to the program? Do you have any advice for students as they form theirs?
Yeah, for sure. I think the approach I took was with like any sort of cover letter I do for any position, you want to avoid making it too general because the person reading it will clearly see through it if you're just sending the same cover letter to like different programs. It's the same thing here, Shelby. So like make it specific to the program and also let them like see what you're all about because like your transcript will only say so much about you, but like there's so much more to each of you. Like each person has their own story. So like don't be shy to sort of like tell them if you have like a unique story. Like for example, maybe you're not coming from a engineering or like a biotech undergrad. That's okay because this program I think has that flexibility. But I think the way I structured mine also personally was I kind of treated it like a storyline. So I had like a beginning, middle, end of like a past, present, and future. So I started off by talking about like what were my past experiences. So I came from iBiomed, which is also a very multidisciplinary program at McMaster. And I talked about how I learned skills and mindsets in that program that would be relevant to this program. And then I talked to them in the present, sort of like what sparked my interest in biomanufacturing specifically, and what are the potential research projects I could pursue in the program if I was admitted. I mean, ultimately, I didn't end up choosing the project route because of my timing constraints, but I had mentioned that in my statement of interest. And then finally end up like, where do you see yourself in the future? So this industry is so big, and like there's many puzzles. So like, where exactly do you see yourself fitting in? And then, as Shelby had mentioned, how can this program help you get there? And then sort of what do you also bring to the table? It's sort of like a give and take. So it's like a long-term relationship. Like, I mean, either 8 months to 3 years. So it's kind of like when you're on a first date, you want to set that good impression of like, what can you do for each other? So you kind of want to like leave a lasting impression. Like whoever reads this will like remember you.
Great. That's great advice from both of you. Well, thank you both so much for sharing so much great insight and your perspectives on the program. What we're going to do right now is take some time for some question and answers. And so for those of you who are watching, if you have questions for either Daniel and Shelby, our students, or Rashid and Faye, our faculty members who are here with us, if you have some questions about the specifics of the program or what the program entails, this is a great time for you to be able to answer those, or for us to be able to answer those for you. We did have a few come up in the chat, and I would love for others to hear just in case some can't see the chat. One question is about co-op. And so do we offer co-op as a part of the program and have students taking co-op? So I don't know, Faye or Crystal, if one of you want to answer that question.
You want to go ahead, Faye?
No, go ahead, Crystal.
We do have students who have gone on co-op, and they range anywhere from 4 to 8 to 12 months. 12 is the maximum amount, and generally this is after the third. This is in the third term. So what'll happen is in the first term you'll have an information session about co-ops with the co-op team. and they'll enroll you into a work term prep course, so that you can prepare like your resumes and whatnot. They'll help you prepare your resumes and interview skills. And then during your second term, you might go, for interviews and whatnot. And so and again, like these are these are paid positions, so that these are very good ways to get experience. So like, even when after you graduate, you've got experience in the field already. You don't have to have just your university on your resume. And you do have the option. So while you're on co-op, you don't have to take courses if you don't want to. You would still be a full-time student, but you can also take one course per term of co-ops. So there is still flexibility in that. So yeah, no, that like co-op is a great opportunity during this program.
Great. Thank you so much, Crystal. And we have a question from Lily. It's for Shelby specifically. Shelby, the student Lily is just wondering how you find the flexibility of taking courses while working for full time. Do you find yourself limited to only taking certain courses or electives because you're limited to taking courses that are only available at night?
Yeah, that's a great question. So it will be different for other people, but the main I would say advantage I do have is I work on campus. So I actually work right across from the engineering technology building where my class is, and my work and job is very flexible here. So I am able to attend class during the workday, as it's only once a week, and like my bosses and supervisors are very flexible with it. And there are different cohorts available on Mosaic. So I do try to choose the ones that are at night, or like, for example, early in the morning. However, if there is one like in the middle of the workday, I am able to just like kind of leave for like a few hours and then come back. So that's the flexibility I do have. So it is kind of a limit depending on where you work. It's like sometimes you may have the work or the job or your boss that does allow you to kind of leave, and sometimes you might only be able to take courses at night. But like, thankfully, where I work, I am able to do any type of course as long as I'm flexible with it.
Great. And Faye, do you want to touch just a little bit more about the design of the flexibility of the program for students who are planning to work full-time or part-time, how that might work or look, what their expectations of when courses are being offered, those kinds of things?
Yeah, most definitely. So the scheduling actually has been made specifically to tailor to the students, given especially the cohort we have, it's because it's a graduate program. So that's why we have a much more flexibility in terms of scheduling. So that's why before the semester, very often we look into like the students' actually preference depending on whether it's in the morning or afternoon or evening time, right? So really so that we can create that schedule works so for all the students, right? So in that case, and especially I think for the part-time students, it really it works better for them if the class is the evening time, because during the day they have their regular job, right? So in that case, and there's a lot of training modules we create, and we are developing even more as we speak to facilitate the students actually are able to engage, the training modules, or any kind of assignment or case study after they finish their job, right, during the day.
Great, thank you. And another question that was asked, and probably this will be for Faye or Crystal, is if someone is accepted into the program, are you expected to register for all of your courses by yourself? Do you have any kind of guidance available during registration time? And are all courses available only in specific semesters, or does it vary?
I was actually just typing the answer to this one. Okay, so students do enroll themselves into their chosen courses, but we do have a course selection session during the welcome week. And then also, if there's any confusion, during enrollment or registration or whatever, I'm always an email away. I'm the grad admin for this program. So, just send me an email, if you're accepted, send me an email, say, hey, I'm really confused. I need to know about this course. Please, send me an email. We can do an in-office visit or on Zoom, whichever works best for you. as for the courses, there are some courses that are only offered in specific terms. However, those courses, they tend to carry over to the next year. So if a course is only offered in the fall, and you miss it that fall, you know, for whatever reason, there's a conflict or whatever, you can always take it the next fall. Or there should be another course that would work in a similar manner to that course. It does depend on your interest, and in some cases, we can if there's room issues or anything like that, we might be able to squeeze you into a course if you're able to, if you really need that course in a specific term.
Great, thank you so much. And Lily did ask the question, does it benefit a student to apply earlier than later, or as long as you meet the deadline? And so what I will say is we do at McMaster in our graduate programs, we work on what we call rolling admissions, meaning that when you apply, a department can start to look at your application as soon as it is submitted and offer admissions prior to the deadline. And so I often tell students, you know, for your own sake, applying early to be able to plan your life early is really helpful. And to get admissions sooner than later, you know, you can get admissions prior to the deadlines for a program if you apply prior to the deadline. But Crystal, do you want to touch a little bit more about timeline of what students should expect in terms of their application, things like that?
Okay, so when you submit your application, make sure that you have paid for the Cura right away, and that you don't wait to submit your application. Don't wait for your referees. Don't wait for your Cura link. Submit your application, because I can't send you the Cura link invitation until you've submitted your application. And also you'll have to pay for the Cura registration fee, so I need confirmation of that. So if you have confirmation of it and you get a message that says, you know, I need confirmation, just send that an email to us, and I can send you the link out. And then complete that as soon as possible. You have about 7 days to do the Cura interview, but the faster you get that interview done, the faster it can be reviewed, and then we can send the whole application package to the admissions committee. And also make sure that your referees know, your references know that this link is coming. Because as soon as you hit, I think it's like slightly before you hit submit, your referees are sent an email link. And so if they can submit that right away, and everything lines up, we can get your application right to the admissions committee within a very short period of time. After that, it gets reviewed by SGS. So they go over and they do their check to make sure that, all the transcripts are right and everything like that. And usually, it might take a couple of weeks to get, if everything lines up, it might take a couple of weeks for a decision to be made. If we have to wait anything, of course, wait for anything, of course, it's going to take a bit longer. But we do try to get those offers out as soon as possible. If you are an international student, there is an advantage to applying earlier, simply because it gives you more time to get your visa application in. Or if you're an undergrad student currently, it gives you more time to get your study permit extension. Just because there have been some recent delays. We're trying to give people as much time as possible. For the domestic students, you have until June 30th for the September cohort. But again, it really just gives you a chance to plan your life, like Shivan said. Find an apartment, if you're moving here, find an apartment, figure out where everything is. And then also that, I remember when I was applying for my master's, the sense of relief that everything was settled. That way it's just like, okay, yep, on this day I go to classes, and you don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to worry about, oh, I haven't heard what's going on. So yeah, it's easy. It's better to get your application in sooner, because then, you're not stressing about it and everything like that.
Great, thank you so much. And I'm going to share my screen just for 1 second. so that just to walk you all through a little bit of the what's required for your application. So in terms of what students must submit, we're really looking for your current resume or academic CV. So that should include academic information as well as your academic information as well as your professional experience. Then you'll have your statement of interest, which both Shelby and Daniel did share a little bit about, but this is a clearly written statement of interest or letter explaining your interest in the program, and that should be a maximum of 2 pages. If you are an international student or you're studying currently internationally, you would need to submit your IELTS or your TOEFL scores, and they need to be within the last 2 years. For any student who did not study in English, as well as unofficial transcripts. So you can use a PDF file when you are submitting your application. You can submit it electronically from all post-secondary institutions that you've attended. And grades, if you are currently studying, you do need to be in at least term 7 of your undergraduate degree. So we need to see at least those grades for your studies so that we can assess your application. And then you'll need contact information, like Crystal said, for 2 academic references. And with your references, again, make sure they know that you are using them as a reference. And so you'll submit their email address. We will then send them a specific form that we'll use for your assessment with your reference. And then there is your Cura interview. And so this is an online interview done by a third party, and you will pay for your interview after you've submitted your application. And then you'll submit your entire application with a $110 application fee. All students can apply online through McMaster's SGS site. And so those are the key parts of the application in terms of what is required. Now, if you do have any specific questions about forming your statement of interest or your academic CV, you can always email my office at enggrad, and I'll put that in the chat as well, enggrad@mcmaster.ca. And we do have some specific information that we can send you, some tips and tricks of putting together your statement of interest and putting together your academic CV that may be helpful for you. So you are welcome to email us about that as well. Before we wrap up, are there any other questions that people have about the program or the admissions? I'll just give 1 minute for anyone, just in case anyone is typing something. I don't want to miss those questions that people may have. Great. Well, I think then we have answered all of the questions, hopefully, that are coming in. But again, if you do have any questions, our email address, enggrad@mcmaster.ca, is in the chat box, and you can email us anytime with questions that you have about the program. And we thank you all for spending, the last hour with us to learn about this program. It really, truly is a fantastic, one-of-a-kind graduate program within the landscape of Canadian graduate school. And so we hope that you will consider applying with us. And if there are any questions, we would love to help you through that process. So please don't hesitate to reach out. Again, thank you to our faculty who joined us to share more about the program. Thank you, Daniel and Shelby, as well, for sharing your perspectives, and Crystal for your time. We really do appreciate it. And all of you for watching and joining us and participating. We appreciate it. So thank you, everyone, and have a good night. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.